Hello, everybody. It is Thursday, 1 o'clock, and that's opposite Saxes. It always is. It has been for 2 years, and I guess it will continue to be.
You do that so well.
What?
You announce and you introduce yourself.
Well, I do it because sometimes I want you to jump in and start the show and all.
No, you do it so well. You don't need me.
I know. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's right. You're the professional.
You say that, except the comments that we get from our listeners is, Lauren does such an outstanding job. And you do.
That's very nice. I appreciate the compliments.
You do.
And so do you.
I think we're the greatest thing since Rowan and Martin.
Oh my gosh, that's awful. You know how many years ago that was?
Yeah, but their show
people probably don't even know who they are.
Yeah, they do. They remember Laugh In.
Oh, unless you got a younger audience.
I could have said Martin and Lewis. That really goes back. Or Abbott and Costello.
Oh, that's poor.
You know?
Yeah. No, don't say that.
Or how about Tommy and Dickie Smothers? I mean, it's a lot of
quit while you're ahead.
Just quit.
Yeah.
Well, we're aspiring to be that level of some of those people. That's when the big bucks come in.
What's the two guys that are comedians that now have gone on the road? Tall guy, gray hair. He's hysterical. He's done some movies, glasses, and he plays the banjo.
Oh, Martin Short and Steve. Steve. Yeah, Steve.
Steve. I know Steve. Steve and Martin. The Martin and Steve show. Yeah, and they're funny. Now, if you'd said that would be okay.
Well, the funny thing, we can't remember Steve's name.
I'm sure somebody out there.
I'm sure somebody's saying, "Are you crazy? You don't know Steve?" What's his name?
We'll think of it the minute we sign off.
Yeah, right. We're gonna say goodbye, and all of a sudden it'll pop into my head. But you're right. He's a comedian.
Yeah, he's multi-talented.
Actor. And all plays banjo and has been done a lot of recordings too. And I don't know why I remember Martin Short, but I can't remember Steve. Well,
where is Google when you need it?
Right.
Or Alexa. Anywho.
Anyway, we were going to talk a little bit today about multitasking because this is a good subject for opposite Saxes.
I am so excited.
Because one of us is really good at it. And the other one cannot handle it. I'm
so glad you said that. I'm so glad
I really wish you could handle it better.
Yeah,
No.
This
is the multitasker. I mean, she can cook something. She can be on the phone, and she can be doing something else.
Adding something on the calculator.
Yeah, I cannot do it. I mean,
I am so thankful that you did admit to it, because you are so good at everything else. And this is finally one thing that I am better at than you.
Well, okay.
And I really, really am on this one.
You are. And so, but the question that I ask is, why is multitasking necessary? Why can't people concentrate on one thing, do one thing when it's finished, then go on to the next thing instead of doing two things at once?
Because every so often you do get that important phone call, and it's a person maybe you've been trying to connect with and you haven't been able to, and they just call and you're doing something else at the same time. And so you feel, well, I can do two things at the same time.
So what's wrong with stopping the one thing that you're doing to do the other thing that you have just deemed is more important? For instance, you like to do yard work.
I don't like to. No.
Well, okay, you don't like to.
No, I do it.
You do it.
You don't
go out and you could be like just sweeping the driveway, sweeping leaves on the driveway, and the phone rings. Now you're sweeping leaves, you're putting them into your little thing and empty, and talking on the phone.
Yeah, why not?
At the same time.
Two things
now
done.
I have seen some people that have the earbuds and they just click the little thing, and now they've got both hands free. You don't.
Well, if I had the earbuds, I would.
Well, you could, but
you could get them for me.
You've got your.
No. They have a wire. You have to
So,
do wireless. I've
see?
tried it. I've tried, believe me, this one
Okay.
has tried the wire and the wire. They
So
come out.
anyway, now what you're doing is you're sweeping
Mhm.
like this, and you got your phone on your
Sometimes I do. It really is
on your shoulder.
difficult, I must say.
Why can't you just put the broom away for a minute and then just lean against the fence or sit down and talk on the phone,
That's a
because
very
you have
valid
just
question.
deemed by answering the phone
Mhm.
that the phone call is more important than
I'm
than
glad you
sweeping
asked this
sweeping the
question.
leaves.
Yes, and that's a very valid question.
Is
Yeah, it is.
I asked a valid question?
And a lot of times it's that 1 minute thing that you just have to say one thing to them and you're done. And then you figure, so why
But
stop? I'll just keep going and then, I'll get it done, all done at once.
But are the
But
leaves gonna accumulate that much more in that 1 minute that you just tell that person, "Listen, I'm outside raking some leaves. Can I call you back in 10 minutes?" Boom. Now go back to raking your leaves, and when you're all finished, you go in the house, you put away your leaf gatherer and your broom. You come in the
my
house,
leaf gatherer,
well, what do you call the thing that you sweep the
dustpan. It's a standing
it's a
dustpan.
okay.
Yeah, my
Well,
leaf
a leaf
gatherer.
gatherer.
You make me sound like I'm in the dark ages.
No, but you're not sweeping dust, you're sweeping leaves.
That's right.
So it's a leaf pan. Anyway, then you come in the house and wash your hands off, whatever dust, whatever, and you sit down in a chair and you call the person back and say, "Hi, sorry I was outside for a little bit, but how can I help you?" And carry on a conversation. I mean, I've always had trouble with it. Maybe it's just my ability to focus, that I try
You're
to
just
focus on
jealous
one
that I
thing.
can do two things at the
Look,
same
I
time.
can be on the computer here writing something, and I'm in the middle of typing something. It might be a story, it might be,
Mhm.
answering emails or whatever, and you come in and you ask me something, and I go, "Just a minute, wait a minute."
Right. And I
Because
understand that.
I'm
You're
focused
focused on
here.
one
I'm
thing.
I'm thinking
Yes.
about that.
Yes.
You could be doing exactly the same thing, talking on the phone and answering a question that I've got.
Well, but did you ever notice a lot of times you will be talking to me and I am writing or I am reading, and then you tell me something, and then 5 minutes later, I'll say to you, I'll ask you a question about what you were talking about. You said, I just told you. So sometimes I don't do it well either. But you don't bother to say, do you have a minute or are you in the middle of something? You just start talking while I'm doing something.
I love that.
So
Sorry.
it's like,
You
wait.
you always walk in when I'm in the middle of something and you say to me, "Are you in the middle of something?"
But rather than surfing the web looking for a new car or a new something or other, which I don't think is a priority at the time, but you might.
Well, I mean, in that case, sometimes you will say to me, "I'm having difficulty with this with something."
Mhm.
I can say, "Okay, just a moment," and I'll either put something that I'm watching or whatever and hit the pause button,
Right,
and now give you my attention.
right.
But I can't listen to what's going on the computer and have a conversation with you.
It's very valid, and I
And
understand that
you
because
can
I
watch
can't sometimes either.
you can watch TV and read at the same time. I
I
know
don't
you've
read
done
a
it.
book. I don't read a book. I will peruse something,
Okay, and
but I don't read a book.
I cannot read anything, whether it's a book or an article or a magazine, anything, and not concentrate on it. Because as soon as I hear something else, a noise, the doorbell, anything else, my concentration is broken.
And I get
And
that, and that's okay. It really is okay. But did you ever stop to think that after how many years have we been in this house? 9 years?
10,
Oh,
it's
okay.
going on
Then just
10.
going on 10. We haven't hit it yet.
Yeah.
But that in the beginning, you helped me with all this stuff outside. And now you've got a lot of other things going on because you're juggling too. And so I'm outside usually all the time. And if someone calls while I'm doing something, did you ever think that maybe I just want to get this friggin' job done because I hate it so much?
Oh, yeah.
So, and it makes it easier if I can talk to somebody and do it at the same time because I really hate I really don't like gardening. I really don't like bundling the leaves, but I do it because it's
one of
we don't
life's
have anybody else.
necessary
Yes,
evils.
and so it's me.
No, but I mean, I do help out.
You do.
Some, you know,
But
sometimes it's when you ask me to help out, but there's times that I may be doing something on the computer and you just simply open up the garage door and out you go to do the yard work instead of saying, I don't want to disturb you. I'm going out to do some yard work.
And there are times that it's not a whole lot and I don't mind it because I can get it done in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
There are times that it's a lot. I'm pruning, I'm doing everything else. And I just want to get the friggin' job done. And I know if I say something to you, do you know what your response will be?
Can I join you in a little bit? I'm just in the middle of
You
something.
can say that. Yeah,
Yeah.
you might, which I appreciate. But you will also look at me and say, it doesn't need it. What are you doing? That
Or
doesn't
my
need it. Now it's
response is,
half dead.
No,
It's half dead, but it doesn't
Well,
need it, and we don't have to
or
do
I've
it
looked
now.
at the weather and the weather shows that the winds are going to be 10 to 20 miles an hour today. And I say to you, why are you bothering, raking or sweeping up the leaves today? It's windy out there. You're just going to end up with more.
You always,
But I guess that's the same answer for those people that live up north in the winter. And you say, why are you shoveling the snow now? Why didn't you wait till it stops snowing?
I rest my case.
Because you used to do that when we lived in the Midwest.
No, I
know,
no.
would
I
you,
didn't.
you know,
Well,
the-
yeah,
the-
maybe. I
yeah,
did.
the steps are there's snow accumulating on steps. Would you go out and brush it off or shovel it off now? And I'd say, why? It's still snowing out there. Why don't I just wait? It's going to stop
Yeah,
in
you would
another
say that.
hour.
And my feeling is if it's easier to do a little bit at a time.
Well, you
And it's
always
like
have been more
back
logical.
breaking.
That's it. You would say, isn't it better to shovel 3 inches of snow right now than
That's right.
6, 7, or 8 inches
Because then I
later?
know that I'm going to hear about it afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh, my back, my legs, my neck.
I think we should get a snow blower.
We don't need a snow blower, you'll say. Well, I can do it.
Yeah. If you would just go out there when there's only 2 or 3 inches and shovel up now, you wouldn't need a snow blower. We never
I
had.
love this topic because
We
this is
never
so
had a snow
opposite.
blower.
And most, not all, will probably be saying, yeah, I get you, Lauren. I understand it.
Well, absolutely.
And the man will say, right on, Stuart, go for it.
No. And I will defend you 100% because I think part of it is a spin-off of the fact that a man could not run a household by himself. A woman knows how to multitask because there was a time when she was taking care of kids, she was cooking, she was doing other things, and she learned how to do it.
She didn't have a choice.
All at the same time. So she became an expert at doing it. Along comes a guy who says, or especially when the woman says, I just got to run over to the grocery store. Would you watch the kids and start dinner? Huh? You want me to start dinner and watch the kids? I can't
do that.
I can't do that. Why not? How about, so the answer is, I'll go to the grocery store.
And you know what? For me, that is great. Please go to the grocery store because I really don't enjoy it.
And for the most part, I do most of the grocery shopping.
Yeah, and you're very good at it.
Because I enjoy it. Why? Because I'm not multitasking. I'm going down each aisle and I'm getting, an item at a time and crossing it off. Now, there are occasions when I have to take out my phone and disturb Miss Multitasker to say, like I did a couple days ago, do you want the light brown sugar or the dark brown sugar? Oh, let me see what I have.
Then I had to go in the kitchen.
Yeah, and you came back and you said, oh, dark. Because if it had been left up to me, I would have bought the light brown sugar.
I probably would have.
But thankfully, because of cell phones.
Yeah, no, it was very good. Very good that you called.
And and also the grocery store has a phone app. So if I'm having difficulty finding an item, I can go into the app and it will tell me what aisle it's in.
Yeah, and see, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
because
I
don't
love
like
it.
grocery shopping and I just want to get the heck out of there.
Right.
He could walk the aisles all day.
Yeah.
So
I
Costco
enjoy
is
it.
next on your list, hon.
Oh, next. No, but I guess, multitasking is probably something that has become more fashionable out of necessity.
Yeah. I mean, there are. I mean, I see
We are
our
doing
niece.
too many things at the same time.
She's a mom of 2 kids. One is an infant and a wife, and she's cooking dinner. She's at school full time. I mean, I was fortunate in that respect.
Yeah.
I was able to stay home. I don't want to say allowed. I was able to stay home. And if I went to work at the stores, I would go on the weekends or the days where you could be with the kids.
Well,
And we were lucky.
yeah,
We were
but we
very
also
lucky.
didn't have cell phones in those days. And it seems like everybody multitasks with a cell phone. That no matter what you're doing, if you're driving, if you're shopping, if you're reading, whatever,
Everything
the
is on the
phone
phone.
goes off and you answer the phone, and now you're doing 2 things at once. Now, if you're doing it in the car, we hope that you're doing it hands-free, because they've made that doable. You can,
Well, our daughter did call the other day, and I was in the car at the post office. But I did tell her, hang on, I gotta go.
just
I
drop
gotta
off some
go.
mail.
Yeah,
Oh.
I just got in the car, but I gotta pull over because she wanted me to look at something.
Oh,
So I said, let me pull over,
right.
which I did. But it makes it very easy.
Yeah, but
Really
but
does.
it's become more commonplace. So if anything, a lot more people have probably become multitaskers because of your ability to speak on a mobile phone,
Right.
and while you're doing
Right.
something else.
Right.
You could be sitting in somebody's office talking with them, and oh, you need the answer. Hang on just a minute. Let me call somebody. Now you're carrying on a conversation, and you're also asking somebody a phone.
Although, and even while you're on the cell phone, if they ask a question, you can swipe your phone, text somebody else while you're still on with the one person waiting for somebody else to respond.
Yes.
I mean, it's endless possibilities.
Yeah.
Well, so did we cover what we wanted to cover?
I think we did. And by the way, it was Steve Martin.
Oh, did you just think of that?
Steve Martin and Martin Short.
Did you look that up? I didn't see you look that up.
No, I told you
It would
eventually it
come.
would pop into
Yeah,
my
Steve
head.
Martin.
And I certainly didn't want to leave our listeners hanging.
I'm sure they were really wondering.
Saying, you dodo, you don't even know Steve Martin? He's an icon.
He is.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
And if you ever have an opportunity to see one of the shows that Steve Martin and Martin Short do together, it's priceless.
Yeah.
It really is.
Well,
and this show is priceless.
Yeah. Yeah. There is no price on this show.
Pick up your phone and multitask while you're watching our show, and come back and join us again next week.
Bye.
Okay? Bye.